And when you saw the video, she's absolutely right. It's a terrible description when you think these are human beings, but that's exactly what it looked like. When does the intent exist? Doesn't have to be even for a second. I'm not telling you who set out that morning to cause this carnage. But when he became enraged back here, he didn't give a damn who or what was in his way. He intentionally went on. I'll show you. Motive. I don't know why he did this. Folks, I don't know why. Other than the rage. He's right. You cannot read minds. Neither can I. But the law doesn't require you to. The law gives you a way to reach a conclusion as to what is somebody thinking. And it's right here. Decide it based on his acts, words, and statements, and from all of the facts and circumstances. I've already been through many of them. I want to show you what I mean. Look at this. Was there room for him to get out? This is way back at the beginning. This is Officer Buttrin's squad video. Way back at the beginning. That's Buckley Street here that you're looking at. Look at those barricades. Look at the sparse crowd. And there's Officer Schneider in her yellow fluorescent vest on the left side of the picture, about to run into the street and stop him. Intent. I'm going to play this video for you because, folks, for me, this is where it becomes crystal clear. You watch this video, the first thing you're going to see if you direct your attention to the left side of the screen is you're going to see him hit Nicole White. Knock her to the ground and keep going. Now, if that was the end of the story, you may sit here and say, Madam DA, I don't know how you conclude intent from that. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe he didn't mean to do it. But watch what happens in this video after he knocks Nicole White down and tell me this does not prove intent. Please play. Keep watching the left side of your screen. That's intent, folks. No reasonable person is going to come across a group of teenagers playing band instruments, drive over them, and keep going. That's a still shot of the same thing. That's intent.
I'm sorry to interrupt your objection, sir.
How can you tell the jury what they're supposed to think?
It's proper argument. Your objection's noted. It's overruled. You may continue.
I will argue that it's, I would say that it's improper, and I move
Mr.
for a
Brooks, I've
mistrial.
made my ruling. I'm going to mute you if you don't follow the rules.
Exhibit
I move for a mistrial.
Exhibit 152. Clearly intentional conduct.
52.
Clearly intentional conduct. States Exhibit 93. We asked the court to take time to have you go look at this car in person because it's remarkably amazing that this damage was caused by human beings. That's intent. This is an excerpt from State's Exhibit 154. Maybe a little hard to see. A lot of that laying in the front part of this photo are shoes. Remember what Dr. Vidritsky said about the shoes and the feet, the scuff marks on the toes and the ankles? Look at all the shoes laying in the street. This is the area at the end when he ran through the Catholic community. All the shoes laying there because of the velocity. Remember, the medical examiner talked about the velocity. It's not just the speed, it's the velocity. The power that these people were knocked right out of their shoes. That's intent. The flight, the hiding, changing his appearance. He had to go through some effort, right? Crawled up in this playhouse, ditched his sweatshirt and his sandal. The other sandal seems pretty reasonable. He dropped it when he was jumping over a fence. Changed his appearance. Please play.
Excuse me.
Intent. What's he running from? What's he running from if he's just a lost guy with no ride back to Milwaukee? What's he running from as there's cops, sirens wailing in the background? Whoops, that was me. So, State's Exhibit number 130. Put that up here quickly. Take this one. Thank you. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, folks. Suffice it to say, after Officer Skolton tried to stop the threat at that intersection at the top, Wisconsin Avenue, and he blew through the barricades there, and drove south on West Avenue over to Prospect Court, cutting through the yards and ditching the vehicle on Maple. You heard all the testimony about the commotion on Maple. The eyewitness testimony from Officer Sailors, off-duty police officer who saw this, saw the defendant, Darrell Brooks. He identified him for you in this court. Get out and run from this car. And how we tracked him through the neighborhood. And again, the desperation, whether he had to ask or use veiled threats like, I won't hurt you, but I need your phone. He was absolutely desperate to get out of there until he took refuge in the home of Daniel Ryder. Now remember the interesting thing, folks, none of these witnesses in this area knew anything about what happened at the parade. None of them were there. None of them were there. So some of them tried to help, some of them didn't. Daniel Ryder did, and it's actually probably a really good thing that he took him in because it stalled, right? It stalled them from keep running, kept them in one place until the cops could close in and get there. Now, Mr. Brooks repeatedly asked witnesses who had just watched their loved ones get struck by this SUV if they happen to catch a license plate. State's Exhibit 150, there's the front license plate. Definitely a little blurry, but definitely you can make it out. State's Exhibit 151, there's the rear plate. State's Exhibit 175, there's Darrell Brooks in his music video with the same car and the same license plate. There's the key to the Ford that was found in Darrell Brooks' pocket. There's no doubt Darrell Brooks is the person responsible for this. Because this man in this picture is the same as this man in this picture wearing this sweatshirt And again, it's a little hard to see, but you can ask for these exhibits in the jury room if you want. The photograph, you can see this design on the front of the sweatshirt if you look close enough. This is a sweatshirt from the play set that has Darrell Brooks' DNA on it, according to the crime lab. That's him right there. That's Darrell Brooks driving off into the parade. That's Darrell Brooks driving in the parade. That's Darrell Brooks driving in the parade. That is also Darrell Brooks driving in the parade. And so is that. And he kept asking people about the tints on the window. Well, guess what, folks? You don't need to see the tints on the window when the windows are rolled down. And there's clearly one person in that vehicle in every one of these photos. And it's that man. And it's that man. And it's that man. Darrell Edward Brooks Jr., date of birth 2/21/1982, on his identification card issued by the state of Wisconsin. In all capital letters, Darrell Edward Brooks Jr. This was in his pocket when they arrested him. So this entire shenanigans that he's presented to you through his questioning of witnesses about I'm not Darrell Brooks and that's my name and I don't know who that is and I don't consent to being called that name. It's just nothing but a distraction. It's Darrell Brooks. It's the man who drove through the Waukesha Christmas parade and killed people, injured people, endangered the safety of people.
I'm sorry, your objection, sir?
Your Honor, with all due respect, I would appreciate the quote-unquote language what does she mean by shenanigans and this and that and the third?
Sir, your objection's noted. It's overruled. The state may continue.
Well, can she tone that back? Because if that was me, if I would have said
Mr.
something
Brooks,
like
your
that, it would have been a
objection
problem.
is noted. It's overruled. These are closing arguments. There's nothing improper. It's noted. It's overruled. She may continue.
I just wanted to be fair.
You'll have
Your
an
Honor, that's it.
opportunity to respond, sir. Please let her finish.
So I can rebuttal?
Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you. I'm going to conclude my comments with this, folks. I'm going to show you the video, a stitched together video of all the carnage caused by Darrell Brooks, and I apologize.
Stitched together.
This is important that you know what he did. It's important that you think about the women like Nicole White and Kelly Grabo and her daughter and Jane Kulik, who were just there with friends and co-workers supporting a local business. The teenagers marching in the band representing, wearing their school colors. It's important. The boys and girls with the Blazers baseball team and their coaches doing nothing more than handing out baseball cards. The young girls in the extreme dance team. Can you imagine how many hours they spent practicing that routine? He drove right through them without a care in the world. The grannies dancing their way down the street, perfect step, every one of them. Catholic community there, as Father Matt said, spreading the light of Christ in the weeks before Christmas. He snuffed it out. It's time for Darrell Brooks to stop running. It's time for him to stop lying. It's time for him to be held accountable for his actions. Darrell Brooks cowardly rammed his way through this parade, violently killing and injuring so many people. I'm going to stop talking and play this video, but please, I ask you to add up the evidence, use the map, 15. You can check off the names. We've covered them all. Walk down that street like we did with you. return guilty verdicts on all counts. Please.